Recall from the previous videos that this is how the slide looks before the animation runs. From the reviewer's perspective, you can't see all the elements in it. That means the reviewer might miss an unacceptable graphic, or words that appear in the graphic might not be identified as needing translation. This is how the animation ran. In the description below, I have placed a link to the PowerPoint file this slide originally came from. If you have PowerPoint or e-learning courseware, you might want to try recreating it so that it achieves the same effect while being easy to review. You can discuss this with others by using the comments below. In this video, I'll show you how I restructured it using Articulate Storyline. I start by isolating the first 3 graphics that appear on their own slide. I apply a zoom animation, followed by a motion path that places these graphics in their final position. I set the slide to auto advance so that it seamlessly moves to the next animation. When the first animation completes, you advance to this slide. The first 3 images are static and in their final position. I add the next round of images and animate them. Again, I set the slide to auto advance. The last 2 images added are static and placed in their final position on the 3rd slide. The 3rd animation initiates. As before, I animate the 5 graphics of the 2nd row. This row of graphics stays in the transparent state until the 3rd row animation completes. I create this effect by formatting these graphics with 50% transparency. Again, I set the slide to auto advance. Because row 2 does not move, it is already in its final position. I add the next 2 graphics, animating them, and auto advancing to the next slide. Finally, the last 3 graphics are added and animated. When they move to their final position, the 2nd row returns to its normal state. It took 5 slides to create this animation, but it plays in exactly the same way as the slide where all the elements are in one place. For review purposes, I create this extra slide with all the images in their final position. It is unnecessary for the lesson, but it presents the graphics in their final format and in a way that can be easily reviewed. This is the only slide I would give the reviewer, and I would delete this slide from the published lesson. There are many benefits to building the animation this way. When you do not have too many elements at once on a screen, it is much easier to create the animations and place them in their correct positions. It is easier to troubleshoot the slide and make changes. It is easier for the reviewer to look at, minimizing the number of review iterations. And finally, what we are most interested in, it is much easier to identify the graphics requiring translation. If you tried this on your own, how did it compare to my solution? You might want to share your solutions in the comments below. Stay tuned for the next video in the series, Best Practices for Tables. Thanks for watching.